And we're back.
Memories broken, the truth goes unspoken. I've even forgotten my name. I don't know the season or what is the reason I'm standing here holding my blade.
I see, welcome in. We are here to... I don't know if finish is going to end up happening today, but like we're gonna start making our way towards the end of Final Fantasy V. So we left off last time, ready to go into the Rift. However, I was supposed to do some grinding and I didn't. So what we're going to do is I'm going to explain to you guys the grinding we're going to do. It's very simple, and I'll explain the whole reason why we'll be doing it. Seriously, just always equip the Hermes sandals. I will sell everything else if they keep doing this. Which they will, because they are bastards. Alright, so Faris already has Monk mastered, which means I want her to master Thief. And this is going to take less time than you will expect. We will wield Twin Lances and Hermes Sandals. Oh yeah, dual wield is a ninja ability. I mean, it doesn't matter. Anyway. Right. So... And then we... put everybody in the back row. And we go back into the Castle of Baal. So, this is where I did my grinding previously for job levels. Back here. Back when Goluf was still alive. So, my general opinion of this is when you are going for... When you are going into the final dungeon, you might as well equip everybody with Freelancer. You might as well put everybody on Freelancer. And Freelancers get 2 job abilities. And Freelancer stats are actually determined by stat modifiers. Money, that's right, they're determined by money. No, they're determined by stat modifiers. When you master a job, what happens is that job has a stat modifier that it applies to Freelancer. And these stat modifiers don't stack, so whichever mastered class has the highest modifier is the one that it goes with. So if you're going to use Freelancer, particularly in the final dungeon, there are 3 classes you'll want to master that give you the best stat modifiers. Those classes are Monk, Thief, Summoner. And Monk gives you the best modifiers to Strength and Agility. Is it? Stamina? I feel like Thief does Agility. What are the stats? Stamina, yeah. So Monk gives you the best stat modifier of any of the jobs for strength and stamina. Thief gives you the best stat modifier for agility, and Summoner gives you the best stat modifier for magic. In the GBA version, one of the new classes they added actually has the best stat modifier, and that is Oracle, but that only exists in GBA and mobile versions. Pixel Remaster doesn't have any of the extra GBA content. Which, like, when I first heard that, it sounded like a bad thing, but then I really thought about it with, like, all the GBA versions, and I don't think the majority of it is really worth bothering with. Like with FF5, no, with FF6, you get the Dragon's Den and the Soul Shrine. And the Dragon's Den is just another dungeon that uses the cave texture. That has a bunch of extra super bosses in it. And the Soul Shrine is just a gauntlet of every enemy type in the game. Every single one. It's really kind of dull. Final Fantasy V has a couple of new super bosses, a new dungeon, maybe 2 new dungeons, and some extra jobs. Not really a big deal. 4 had the Lunar Subterrane bonus dungeon, which had new weapons for everybody, like new ultimate weapons for everybody. New bosses. The scenarios were kind of interesting, because every character had to go through specific scenarios alone to get the new ultimate weapons. And, like, conceptually, they were kind of interesting. Final Fantasy III didn't get a GBA release. Final Fantasy II got the Dawn of Souls add-on, which I think story-wise is probably the most interesting of all the GBA editions, where post-game you do a dungeon with all the characters who died during the course of the game. And, like, story-wise, it's pretty interesting, I think. Final Fantasy 1 probably gets, like, an extra dungeon or something, I don't really know. None of it's really all that worth it. Well, anyway, so, like, aside from the stat modifiers, which means you can have, like, the highest stats as a freelancer, in that regard, like, the freelancer can be a jack of all trades and a master of everything, which is really cool. Freelancers also gain access to every innate ability that your characters have learned from every class that they have. Which is the real thing I was supposed to be grinding. Nah, fuck, I'm gonna walk back to the inn. So, when you're grinding jobs, this is probably the best place to do it. Like, for a considerable amount of the game. There's an inn right here, there's a save point right next to it. Like, you leave it until you get the Thundaga spell, and just equip everybody with black magic. And my recommendation for these is to make everybody a black mage until they have access to level 5 black magic. And then once they do, put them on whatever job you want them to level up with, and have them equipped with level 5 black magic. And the enemies here, you run into these objet d'art in groups of 2 or 5. In groups of 2, they give you 4 APB apiece. In groups of 5, they give you 8. They will reliably go down to 2 hits of Thundaga all. So in terms of like your MP usage and your strategy, it doesn't matter whether you're fighting 2 or 5. What level are we all on? 4, 5, and 6. I don't think that worked the way you wanted it to work, Teak. I mean, what do you expect? You're trying to use an emote that you're not sub for? If it was that easy, I don't think there'd be any point to emotes. How you doing, Teak? But yeah, like with Pixel Remaster's, like one of Pixel Remaster's best features, Auto Battle, you can like breeze through these levels. At level 6. I believe level 6 is the last level for Monk. So if I take a second, I can look up the innate abilities that everybody gets. And the point of them is, like, the innate abilities you get from the jobs, they have to be equipped on other classes to use them. But Freelancer just gains access to them. Like, they don't have to be equipped. Which, like, let me look it up real. You'd look this up after the exactly what it was. It was a really convenient table I saw. Abilities? It was a really nice table that I saw that was like super clear. This isn't it. But I think this is like everything that we're here. So equipping specific weapons, cover, counter, barehanded, I think, is one of them. Artful dodger, which is standard. Find passages, find pits, first strike, HP up, learning, which means you can learn blue magic as a freelancer, which is great. Light step, or lure, which increases the rate of random encounters. Is gladiator a class in this? I don't think it is. But that's the GBA version. Magic Shell from Mystic Knight. MP plus 30%. Pharmacology. Shirahadori. Sprint. Two-handed and Vigilance. There's like some good support abilities. And you just have access to them as a freelancer once you have them. Which means, like, by the end of the game, freelancer, if you've actually taken the time to master some of your classes, rather than just jumped around between them, freelancer will be undeniably your best class, with the possible exception of Mimic, which, if you know how to use it right, is your best class. I really should have done this off screen. I could have done this yesterday instead of playing Bioshock. Could have done it on Saturday. Oh well. It's been a long time since we just had a grind session on stream. So, if you've been following the stream for a while, you know my preferred stat tends to be strength. And for the most part, I like to hit harder, is really it. I like to hit harder and do more damage per hit. So if there's any one class I want mastered for everybody, it is Monk. That and the fact that it covers two stats. Stamina and strength. You know, thinking about emotes, it's kind of wild how, like, I ran for years with, like, 3 emotes, and now, in the last year, that has... How many emotes do I have? It's over doubled. I now have 7. The original 2, the one Klim made for me. And then 3 that I made. I'm starting to feel like a real streamer. It's only been almost 7 years. Ooh. It feels very on point, though, like very on brand, that the emotes that people like the most are essentially the two that are the most shitposty ones. Like, especially the mecha smile. Everybody loves that one. So as far as grinding in Pixel Remaster goes, as long as you input the command, it counts for auto battle, because auto battle will repeat the last command you put in. So as long as you input the command, it will still work. You have to re-input the command when you change jobs. Otherwise, it defaults to just the standard attack again. If I'd known I was going to be doing this, I would have done more grinding earlier. Oh well. Is it a thief ability that is giving Faris the blink? Oh, it's a ninja ability. That doesn't sound right. Right. How you doing, Clem? You get changed, you're gonna trim your hair and shower, but I'll wait till after stream. Excellent. 90 streams. Good. Good. I hope you'll continue to... There we go. I hope you'll continue to do that while we start playing games that you may not be interested in. Like East. And Thief. I mean, we're going to switch to Thief, not that we're going to play Thief. You'll get changed? Excellent. I feel like HP plus 30% is like a really good one to have. Was it Black Mage that had MP plus? It was. That's interesting. Works, like all these plus percentages, says they work independently of other plus percentages, including other copies of itself. Which is interesting, because that means that it could you could use that. Like, you could have a freelancer who has plus 30% as an innate, and then equip it as well, and then you got another plus 30%. So when Clem comes back, I'm going to throw a question out to the chat, but I'm going to throw that question out now so you can all contemplate it. Which Final Fantasy has the best victory theme? Mastered Mug. Brill isn't getting to cast anything. So I don't think I've mentioned this previously, because I'd completely forgotten. But the sprites are modified. The character sprites. I think all the sprites are modified. Have mods for all the sprites. The characters specifically, I believe, are from Final Fantasy Record Keeper, a game that had really nice sprite renditions of like most of the Final Fantasy games that you can no longer play. But the enemies, the environments, the random creatures and such, they should be all from the Super Nintendo release. I think I've said it before, but like, I'm not fond of the Pixel Remastered sprites for the main characters. Like any of the games. I think Final Fantasy VI is probably the best to point out a specific issue. I think the new sprites for the Pixel Remaster lose details from the original sprites. But that's also, I specifically single out 6 for that. Because Final Fantasy VI has some, like, the most detailed sprites for the party. Compared to, like, the previous 5 games. But I think also they're all, like, overly bright. Like, the shading on them Like, the line art feels wrong. Like, it's too bright. And I don't like it. But that's the advantage to playing on PC. Till they put out an update that breaks all the mods. Which is why I'm playing with the font that the game gives you, rather than one of the fonts that was modded into it. Like, we played Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster before the console release happened. And when the console release happened, they updated the PC version with the extra stuff the console release had. This has been loose. Yeah, I see. And one of those things was a new font. Because, like, I don't know if you guys will remember, but the standard font, the font that the game launched with, was this. Which... And so when we did Final Fantasy VI, I had, like, among other mods that I had. Why is that reset that? Among other mods we had was a new font. It's a nice font. I don't think it was quite like the original Final Fantasy VI font, but it was a lot closer. The more games Square's been putting out like this, the more I agree with Teak that these fonts that Square's been using lately have not been nice. They're in Doritos. I'll have a beer, thank you. I will not be partaking of the Doritos. Yes. Ice and Nacho, that is not for me. Among the very... I don't know if I've ever, like, really talked about this on stream. I have a very sensitive palate. Like, I do not do spicy. I don't really do flavor well. Like, a lot of my food has to be quite bland. We have discussed it? Awesome. How are you doing, Clem? I assume from what you said that you're not actually doing bowling tonight, or trivia. Tuesday used to be trivia night, didn't it? What happened to trivia, Clem? Did you win too much trivia and now they won't let you back in trivia? I feel that. Tuesday used to be Tuesday. The place closed and we found a Thursday. So you're saying Tuesday isn't Tuesday anymore? So what do we call Tuesday now? I wasn't informed yet. Tuesday used to be trivia. Fascinating. So you're saying Tuesday is still Tuesday? How much fun was Devil May Cry on Sunday? It was great. God. So I didn't do, like, you won't have caught this, Clem, because you came in late. I didn't do any of the grinding that I was talking to you about doing. Like, I've been working since the last stream. Like, the last time we played this, I was in work. And then the opportunity I had to do the grinding, I was watching you stream, which, if you recall, I was falling asleep during because I was very tired. And then, what did I do? I watched Teak. I went into Teak's stream when he started streaming on a Saturday and watched him play KOTOR for a couple of hours. And then, of course, on Sunday, I streamed the conclusion of Power Slave, and then I streamed Devil May Cry with Ninja. And then yesterday, I streamed Bioshock. And then went to bed early, because I was up early today. So I haven't done any of the grinding. I have explained the purpose of doing this grinding, though. Which I feel is very important. For the innate abilities and the stat modifiers. So here's a fun thing, Clem. I have a list of all the innate abilities. Did you know? Did you know? That the HP plus and MP plus, those stack. So, like with Monk, you get HP plus 10%, then HP plus 20%, then HP plus 30%. Those stack. And the same is true with MP. But I think with MP you don't get a 20%. No, it's 10% with White Mage and 30% with Black Mage. But those stack. As well. And so, like, by the end of it, if you've, like, leveled the right classes, you end up with Freelancer being a jack-of-all-trades, master of everything. Which is something I said earlier, but nobody was really paying attention, so they didn't appreciate my my subversion of the traditional use of a jack-of-all-trades. I can't say Jack of all trades without thinking about Dragon Quest IX. Like, Dragon Quest IX on the DS had a job system as well. It wasn't as varied as this, and the idea was that, like, you stuck with jobs much more. But you changed your jobs at a location called All Trades Abbey. And the head priest of All Trades Abbey was called Jack. And his name was presented as Jack of all trades. And at one point he becomes evil, and his evil self is called Master of None. Because Dragon Quest, the Western releases of Dragon Quest, at least since Dragon Quest VIII, have been very focused on puns. I think you would enjoy a lot of the Dragon Quest puns, Clem. On top of it being, like, just generally a really fun JRPG series, I think you would enjoy a lot of the puns they do. We'll see. Like, you don't have to play a Dragon Quest game to, like, find out, because later this year we'll play Dragon Quest VIII, which is one of the PS2's best RPGs. Consider how many RPGs the PS2 has. Humanity's greatest contribution to space and time. Is it, though? Thinking about Snake Women again. Is it 2 RPGs? It is not. It's just one. Final Fantasy X and Dragon Quest VIII. Or do you mean when I said about Snake Girls? "2024 was the year of muscle mommies. This year's gonna be the year of Snake Girls." Fewer games than you would think have sexy snake women. Maybe it's getting excited over the thought of Snake Girls. So, I finished my playthrough. If you remember, Clem, I posted in our private Spooky Bastards chat an image of my Retro Pocket Mini version 2 where I had been working on a playthrough of A Link to the Past. I have finished that playthrough of A Link to the Past. I was actually using the ROM hack A Link to the Past Redux, which I have finished before, and finishing it again this time, I feel like despite the little quality of life improvements it has, like being able to swap items with the shoulder buttons, being able to turn while sprinting, which is really nice, and other things, I feel like overall I probably do just prefer playing vanilla Link to the Past. Possibly because of the influence of the randomizer. Yeah, I probably hooked you up with it at some point. Speaking of, though, how are you finding Shipper Parkinian? And is this the point where you're going to tell me you didn't actually set it up? Yep, there it is. Deeply invested into what you already had going. What you had going was trying to get your buttons to work for an N64 emulator for Ocarina of Time. You'd already been playing for a while. You were still in the Kokiri Forest. I'm not gonna lie, I have been kind of tossing up the idea of a place like we had Castlevania, like a Zelda day at some point in the future. I would probably set up the Wii U again for that. Because, like, it's not just that setting up the Wii U means that I can do Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD without issue. Like, without worrying about emulation issues. There's already Thief level 5. Summoner level 1. Yeah, it's not just that. There we go. But the Wii U gamepad, like the Wii U offered DS Virtual Console support, and the Wii U gamepad works great because it is a touchscreen, so you can actually do touch stuff. And it would be the way for me to stream both Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Track. And I never finished Spirit Tracks. I'd be down for that. Like, I kind of want to just set up the Wii U again anyway. I have a week off next. Maybe I'll do it then. Because, like, I would be super down to go through a bunch of those Zelda games again. And I would do Ship of Harkinian for Ocarina, and Ship 2 Harkinian for Majora's Mask. I feel like the only Zelda game I'm not excited about the idea of replaying is Wind Waker. Like, I've been over my reasons for not being overly fond of that game before. Ship 2 Harkinian. Slim, I spoke to you about this directly when I was talking to you about Ship of Harkinian. I've spoken to you about it twice. So, you said it, but you also said it wrong anyway. So the name Harkinian comes from, in my crazy foreign accent, how dare you? How dare you? This is my stream, and in my stream, it's your accent that's foreign. Bitch. So what was I saying? So, Harkinian, from my point of view, the mecha are evil. Well, then you are lost! You are my brother, Clem. I loved you. So yeah, the name Harkinian, it's a shitpost the way that so much of this is. The name comes from the CDI Zelda games, where the king is named King Harkinian, and his ship sets sail in the morning, so it's Ship of Harkinian. And then when they decompiled and recompiled a port for Majora's Mask, again, like, let's take the shitpost approach with this. Too Fast, Too Furious, Ship 2 Harkinian. And so it's a meme, because everything is. But it is also, like, undeniably the best way to play Majora's Mask, and Ocarina of Time at this point. Like, they are genuinely fantastic projects. It's like, if I was gonna do, like, a Zelda day, what Zeldas would I not want to do? Then what Zeldas would I not want to do? Zelda 2. You see, Zelda 2, I'd be more willing to do Zelda 2 than I would be to do Link's Awakening. That's the crazy part. Gonna sit here with a fucking guide open for Link's Awakening. Every time I've tried to get into Link's Awakening, I've always hit this barrier of like, this is just kind of bullshit. And maybe it's because I never grew up with it. Because I was thinking about it when I was playing through like A Link to the Past recently, how much of that game could be really frustrating if you approach it on the first time. Like, imagine you're playing A Link to the Past for the first time, you're doing it on a stream or whatnot, as an adult, and say you get to Trinex, and you cannot beat this boss because you don't have the Ice Rod. And the Ice Rod has never been a thing until now. Like, if you'd followed the clues, you could have found it. But you would have had to be looking for those clues. And so, like, I was playing Link's Awakening, the Switch remake, which... like, there's positives and negatives to that Switch remake. But, like, I'm trying to get into the 4th dungeon, and I can't do it. Because it turns out, to get into the 4th dungeon, you have to do the trading side quest. Yeah, Shalashaska says, like, hey, why don't you go and check out the cave on, like, Hylia? But you don't have to do that. Shalashaska. 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 I've never fucking done it. Shinene. Shawadi. But yeah, M. Night Shyamalan tells you to go to the cave on, like, Hylia if you, like, when you defeat the first dungeon, after he gives you the Pegasus boots. Like, if you don't do that, there's not really anything else directing you to it. But you've also got to remember the rest of the game is like that. Like, to even get into Turtle Rock, you need Quake. And nothing in the game directs you to Quake. Like, you can find Bombos reasonably enough, because you can see with the Bombos tablet. You'll probably have found the Ether tablet, so like, go back there and get Ether, so you can get into the Miser Empire. Nothing in the game directs you to Quake. There's like, there's that whole thing. I feel like the biggest problem I would have with Zelda 2 more than anything else, it's the same reason I didn't want to stream Castlevania 2. It's the grinding. And you can be like, oh, but we're grinding right now. It's like, yeah, but I'm mostly not paying attention to this. And we're really just using this as a conversation time. Gotta pay attention to the grinding in Zelda 2. What I really need to do is, like, sit down in my own time and just kind of master Link's Awakening. And probably the Oracle games. Because then, like, beyond that, I feel like the Zelda games get a lot more accessible because video games generally got a lot more accessible. So Minish Cap wouldn't be as bad. And then, of course, like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks aren't. And A Link Between Worlds is, like, fucking wonderful. Like, honestly, Clem, you owe it to yourself at some point. Like, maybe set up Azahar, the 3DS emulator at some point, and sit down and play through Link Between Worlds, because it's really good. I remember when I first got my 3DS, and I got a few games with it, and 2 of those games were Ocarina of Time 3D, because, of course, and A Link Between Worlds. And I played through Ocarina of Time 3D first, and I did like a dungeon a day. And I enjoyed going through it well enough there. And then I was like, okay, let's play Link Between Worlds next. And I intended to do the same thing, a dungeon a day, and I finished it in 2 sittings. Because I just didn't want to stop playing it. It was so much fun. So yeah, I absolutely recommend sitting down and playing A Link Between Worlds. Like, if there were any of these Zelda games that I would recommend that you haven't played, like, I feel like you haven't played Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. I imagine you've not played Skyward Sword, which I haven't finished Skyward Sword. Like, if I was going to recommend any Zelda game for you, Clem, I would definitely say, like, check out A Link Between Worlds. Very good. One, two, Link's Awakening, Link's Past, Ocarina of Time. Yeah, I would recommend A Link Between Worlds like above all the others. Twilight Princess, it's a difficult one to start, of course, because of how long the opening is. Like, once you get past that, I feel like once you get past that and maybe into the second dungeon, like, it's a lot more gripping after that. But the pacing never really picks up with Twilight Princess. There's always a lot of downtime between dungeons. I think the dungeons themselves are fantastic, and I don't think the downtime between dungeons is bad. Not until, like, late game, but by that point you're invested. Late game just kind of becomes a little bit of busy work. Setting up to go into the city and the sky in particular. Minish Cap you might enjoy. Like, I feel like visually, though. Visually, Minish Cap is probably my favourite Zelda's art style. It's literally Wind Waker's art style, but top-down, like A Link to the Past view. And I love the way the sprites look like that. They look fantastic. I think I think Four Swords Adventures has that same style. I think it looks better, but I think that's probably because of, like, 1, higher resolution, because it's a GameCube game. 2, the color palette is darker. Because a lot of games on GBA were very bright and they look terrible on backlit screens. But Minish Cap visually, I think, looks fantastic. It's probably my favourite Zelda art style. I think the Oracle games do look quite good. Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, I always felt them going with the Wind Waker art style made sense because they're lower poly game. But even on like an actual DS, I always felt like visually it was so clear that they couldn't compete with Wind Waker in that art style. And I feel like that's always like a visible distraction in some part, visually. Doesn't make them bad games, it's just like they're trying to look like Wind Waker and the DS cannot look as good as the GameCube. I feel like as time's gone on, I've appreciated... not even feel like... I know as time's gone on, I've appreciated Breath of the Wild less and less. But I think visually I feel like I've definitely been appreciating Breath of the Wild's visuals less and less. I think its art design is very bland and muted a lot of the time. I think it's a real shame going from Skyward Sword's very vibrant colours and art style into Breath of the Wild, which is very muted. And I just don't like that. Like, you can argue, oh, but it's like a post-apocalyptic Hyrule, and it's supposed to be like a little duller, and everything's like, yeah, it's fine. I just don't like it. Yeah, a Zelda day would be fun. Don't think I'd play Triforce Heroes, though. I would play Four Swords Adventures, though, and, like... We've always had the hope that we could do Four Swords Adventures over Dolphin with MGBA connectivity. I feel like that's probably not going to end up happening. Like, connection issues and such. Like, Zeke and I tried to work it out to play, like, X-Men Legends at one point. And the latency when we finally did get it to work was really bad. But I've played through Four Swords Adventures alone before, and I would do it again. It's a fun game. I think Four Swords Adventures is probably like the most underrated Zelda. Oh, jeez, 500? I should have done this off stream. I mean, it's easy enough to set up. I expected to have more trouble with it. Like, I'd heard that sometimes you just won't compile properly. But, like, every time I've set them up, because I've set them up 3 times now. I've set both of them up on my PC, and I've set... I've done it 4 times? I set both of them up on PC. I set them both up on... I think I set them both up on my Retro Pocket 5. I set them both up on my Retro Pocket Mini. And I've set them both up on my Retro Pocket Flip 2. And they've all just worked. Like, there was no issues with the extracting or the recompiling or anything, which was nice. Alright, Krill has mastered Thief. But yeah, they're both, like, Ship of Harkinian and Ship 2 Harkinian are both, like, really good ways of playing through Ocarina and Majora's Mask again. The main thing I appreciate as somebody who has started playthroughs of these games and never got anywhere with them is the option they give you to just skip the entire intro, both of them. Like, I think Ship of Harkinian gives you the option of just skipping Kokiri Forest altogether. And, like, not even doing the Great Deku Tree. You just start the game when you're out there. Ship 2 Harkinian gives you the option to skip the first cycle. So you start the game and you're back as, like, human Link. Which is really nice. Because, like, for replays, like, you've already done it and it's such a slow beginning in both of them. That said, the little dabbling I did with Ship 2 Harkinian where I did that, it kind of confused the fuck out of me, because there's a bunch of stuff I do during the Deku Link cycle. And, like, none of that's done if you do that. There we go. But no, it's really nice for replays. One feature I really like of Ship of Arcadian is the ability to... Like, you can save anywhere in Ocarina of Time, but there are only 3 places you'll start again when you reload the save. As a child, you'll restart in Link's house in the Kokiri Forest. As an adult, you'll restart in the Temple of Time. Or, if you saved in a dungeon, you'll restart in the dungeon entrance. And that's it. But Ship of Arcadian gives you the option of like restarting from the last place you've saved, which is really nice. Because like if I'm gonna save and quit as a child, I want to do it in a dungeon, because Kokiri Forest is so far away from anywhere else. And like, you can get back to Death Mountain really quickly if you've opened up the shortcut in the Lost Woods. And you can get back to Zora's Domain quickly if you have the Silver Scale. But you've got to have those. It's a nice quality of life feature. You know, I wonder. No. Shame. Auto battle won't just throw them at the enemy. Which means overall it is slower than just spamming Thundaga or all. I wonder, should I cut this stream short and then just like spend the next few hours grinding this? Like the only difference is going to be like whether or not it's on stream. And then on like Thursday we can just like finish the game. Completely focus on finishing it. Maybe I should before the next ad comes up. Like we'll call it here. And I'll just grind off stream. It's not that I'm feeling bored, like I'm gonna be doing this regardless. Yeah, on stream it's a different feeling. Yeah, you got to enjoy the grind. If you're gonna play these games from like these RPGs from the Super Nintendo, you've got to enjoy the grind, don't you? It's just about whether you guys are enjoying it, because it is the same thing over and over. And, like, this is the reason, like, this kind of thing is the reason why I said, like, I'm just going to do grinding off stream now. After the great Digital Devil Saga 2 debacle of... I want to say 2020. It's like, boy, was that a nightmare. Grinding for 3 streams straight, and then it still wasn't enough. God damn. That game was great, but like, fucking hell. Yeah, I'll do this off stream. Like, I'll just keep going with it now. Let me throw the save in another slot here. There we go. So there's our current time, and we'll come back to this file with our updated time after I'm done with the stream, with the grinding, so you'll be able to see how long we've gone. And then when the stream comes back on Thursday, we'll just go, like, as long as we need to finish the game. Yeah. Because otherwise, like, there's going to be an ad in less than 10 minutes, and you guys will be watching it to come back to more of this. And I feel like it's not all that entertaining for you. So, like, as we run down the clock, things that I would like to do in the future. I would like to do, like, a Resident Evil night. Like, in the same sense of, like, the Castlevania. Like, just a day where we're playing Resident Evil. And my hope with that is very specifically to do some of the VR stuff as well. Like, not just do RE4 VR, but to do the VR mod for RE7, and RE2 make and RE3 make. Which, like, if you guys never saw the test footage I made of that, test out how it works and how it would capture, like, RE7 in particular, like, let me... I feel like RE7 worked best for it. Because RE7, RE7 was designed for VR anyway. It's in first person. Just like the VR mod adds like proper motion controls. Like, if you guys are curious to see how that would end up looking, like, here's the test footage I made of it. It's super cool playing RE7 in VR like that. And, like, lifting your hands up as, like, to actually block and swinging the melee weapon proper. Oh my god, it's Chance. And Chance to subscribe. When did that happen? When does Chance have the money to... Well, now we've got to keep going. You've been subbed, you just never hear for us to know that you're subbed. I appreciate that, Chance. I hope you enjoy VODs and the emotes. You did it for Christmas or New Year's. That's great, but, like, it's April. Here you go. Enjoy your mecha emotes. But I was actually just wrapping up. Yeah, also that one. Because I should be grinding this. and I didn't do any of the grinding in between, so I was going to wrap this up and do the grinding off stream. And then I was going to come back on Thursday with a super, like, as long as it takes stream until we finish this game. You just have bad timing. I'm guessing with mouse surgery you can't really talk either, so we can't even like just like, you know what? I'll grind another time and like, oh yeah, we'll just play RE5 together and I'll do that to make up to you. You know, that RE5 game we were playing, Chance. You know, RE5 co-op playthrough we were doing. You remember that one? Talking is pain. Maybe you deserve it. Remember the RE5 playthrough? Clem, how many points do you have at the minute? We'll take a few minutes and do a bit of chatting. I feel like I should be allowed to see how many points everybody has. 84.9 thousand points. I have infinite points on my channel. Wild. Clem has 772,000. So Clem is getting close to our 1 million point reward. Which, if you guys aren't aware, for 1 million points, you unlock Shin Megami Tensei. Which, if that's redeemed, that's me playing nothing but Shin Megami Tensei and Shin Megami Tensei related games for a year. That's 1 million points. Will that be 2026? Will 2026 be the year of SMT? We'll find out. That's been there for a while, actually. I never expected anybody to hit 1 million. And then, like, Clem hit over 500,000. And it was like, oh, this could happen. And then we'd finally get the stream you've all been waiting for. Shin Megami Tensei 9. I'm kidding, I would never stream Shin Megami Tensei 9. Like the contracts at the beginning of Persona 3. Remember, you signed this of your own free will. It's like, fuck yeah, I do, kill me. I don't know why you're writing it as Roman numerals, because it's literally just the word 9 in all caps. Loopy from surgery, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah, it's a real shame, because... what do we got? I won't be streaming tomorrow. I'm doing an overnight shift. And then I'm off on Thursday. But because I'm doing another overnight on Friday, I'll be keeping my, like, the sleep pattern I have for that. So, like, I won't be streaming in the day on Saturday. I'll be home at, like, 7 AM Saturday. And then go to bed, and I'll probably wake up and Clem will be streaming. So it'll be Thursday and Sunday. But definitely, like, if you're available Sunday, Chance, definitely come in. We're playing the History of Stylish Action in a minute. Where we're doing Devil May Cry 2 on Sunday. a game everybody's too cowardly to stream. A game that Klim streamed, and I had to bully him into streaming the second half of it. And on Thursday, like, we'll come back with this. I'll have done my grinding. I don't even know if I need to do the grinding. I want to do the grinding. I want to go into the interdimensional rift and kick X-Death in the dip. So Thursday we'll do like a lot of Final Fantasy V. But what I will say for you though, Chance, is like you follow Teak. Teak will be streaming Final Fantasy XI later tonight, so recommend always checking Teak out. If you've never seen Final Fantasy XI, Teak is like really far into it. He's on like session 27 or something. Find out why you should stick with 14 over 11. Let's have a sound alert.
Move fast, baby, don't be slow. Step aside, reload, time to go. I can't seem to control this rage that's inside me.
I think, like, yeah, it's surprising that Final Fantasy XI is still online. It's surprising that it's still active. And it's most surprising that it's not free to play at this point. Like, it's still a subscription-based MMO. But yeah, that'll be a thing. So, as I have come to be doing at the end of these sessions now, discussing, like, what we have going on and coming up, it is still subbed, yeah. So we have the Year of RPGs, which will continue with Final Fantasy V. We're coming to the end of it, and after Final Fantasy V concludes, we'll be streaming East. Specifically, East 1 and 2. We'll be doing both those games, the first and the second. They form a complete story, a complete package, so we'll be doing both. Daylight Shooting Time continues with Bioshock, my first playthrough of Bioshock. And on Sundays, the history of stylish action continues. We've completed Devil May Cry. Next up is Devil May Cry 2. Is it? Wait a minute. June 6th, 2003. It is Devil May Cry 2. Alright. It beats out Beautiful Joe by like 5 months. So Devil May Cry 2 for the history of stylish action, and then Beautiful Joe. Super important. Yeah, Bioshock's been interesting. I am overall enjoying it, though, again, I feel like the weapon management could have, like, used a little bit of testing a bit more. But, you know, everything's got to be the first to do something like that. And Bioshock will have, like, garbage weapons management so that Bioshock 2 could have better, hopefully, when we eventually get to that. I haven't been, like, deciding what comes after each game in Daylight Shooting Time until we're done. But I believe after Bioshock, we will be doing the original Prey. Also on Xbox 360. Which was, I feel like, the last game published by 3D Realms. And, like, if you've never seen Prey, the original Prey, it's an interesting game. Really interesting game. Am I going to play every game on the Doom 3 engine that isn't Doom 3 before I play Doom 3? That's a possibility. Probably not, because that'd mean I'd have to play Quake 4 before Doom 3, and that's not likely to happen. But Daylight Shooting Time shows no signs of slowing down, and I'm greatly enjoying it, and there's so much more left for us to do. Prey, I want to do Far Cry 3, we're going to go back and do Perfect Dark, Time Splitters 2, Time Splitters Perfect. More of the Bond games, the N64 world is not enough. Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, everything or nothing. It's not a first-person shooter, but I always said Daylight Shooting Time will not be just committed to first-person shooters. Crysis, Far Cry 1 probably, Far Cry 5 at some point. Which, like, will it get political? Will we get political when we play Far Cry 5? Tune in and find out whenever I play Far Cry 5. What I will say is, I will be enacting incredible violence, but that is nothing new. I do enjoy enacting incredible violence. I believe there is a quote to that effect somewhere. So yeah, we're going to wrap this up, and we'll come back on Thursday with, hopefully, the conclusion, as long as it takes. So I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to everybody in the chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. IC, Teak, Clem, and Chance. So much for joining us, keeping company. Chat is the best part of the stream. Back on Thursday with more Final Fantasy V. Bioshock is the current Daylight Shooting Time game. Devil May Cry 2 is next up in the history of stylish action, and it will be followed by Beautiful Joe. Which, like, the history of stylish action is going to be really interesting as we go. Like, it's going to cover Beautiful Joe, it's going to cover God Hand, Okami may be in there, Bayonetta's in there, obviously. Astral Chain's going to fucking be in there. We're going to finally get to Astral Chain, boys. In, like, 7 months. But it's going to happen. Beautiful Joe is so good. Like, I don't think any of the games that we're going to do on the history of stylish action will be bad. I think Devil May Cry 2 might be the worst, but Devil May Cry 2 is not a bad game. Like, it's got its issues, and it's undeniably the weakest of Devil May Cry games. But it's one of those things of, like, it's such hyperbole, and people say, oh, this is such a bad game. Playing Devil May Cry 2 is so painful. And it's like, motherfucker, play a bad game. Devil May Cry 2 is bland. It is dull. It is not the worst game you will ever play, and if it is, count yourself fucking lucky. It won't be the worst game I've ever streamed. Okay, streamed Alone in the Dark last year. It's terrible. But yeah, like, I feel like every game in the history of stylish action is going to be interesting for some reason or another. Like, Beautiful Joe, super interesting. The stuff I find interesting in Devil May Cry 2, Devil May Cry 3, of course, which, thanks to Stunning's talking about it during Devil May Cry 1 playthrough, I'm going to be looking into the possibility of doing Devil May Cry 3 with Ninja co-op. Which should be, like, a lot of fun if we can get it working. We're already planning to do Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 5 co-op. So that should be fun. Ninja would like me to play as Virgil, but it's my stream, so I'll be playing as Dante. And Ninja said that he needed to play a Virgil campaign anyway, so that'll be good. Yeah, Alone in the Dark. Played Alone in the Dark Inferno, which, like, if you've got nothing going on, Chance, maybe check out the archive video of that. It was 3 sessions long. Maybe check out the archive of that. That's a game that has a lot of potential that goes really downhill. And by the end of it, I am just like, ugh. And it's crazy because we played the PS3 version, which is supposed to be improved. But yeah, once again, I want to thank everyone for joining the stream. It was really appreciated support. We'll be back with more Final Fantasy V on Thursday. But in the meantime, there's not really anything else to say except thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day. And take care. We'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.